Good morning. I know we can do better than that. This weather is picture perfect. Good morning. That's what I'm talking about. I'm Amanda Smith, your Learning and Development Manager with the City of Alexandria. I reside in the Department of Human Resources. I want to thank you all for being here today for the inaugural ceremony of the Redella S. Del Pepper Community Resource Center. I will say we've been operating for quite some time now, and so as we're sitting here today and standing, you will see clients coming in and out. That's okay. It just talks to the importance of this resource center, so we are here because of them. So before me, I see city government officials, past and present council members, and community members who were critical to the success of not just this building, but creating a safe, collaborative space for our residents and staff. And for them, let's give them a round of applause. The Redella S. Del Pepper Community Center is proud to be the home to the community's primary health and community service agencies, including the Department of Community and Human Services, the Alexandria Health Department, and the Neighborhood Health, all of which have collaborated in West End Service Center, including the Permit Center and Finance Department. The Redella S. Del Pepper Community Resource Center provides all Alexandrians access to convenient, co-located services, which ensures the health and well-being of our residents. In proximity to our major neighborhoods, including Southern Towers, as well as 3 Alexandria City schools, ACPS, and supported by a wide variety of public transportation, the Redella S. Pepper Community Resource Center will be the West End's community hub for all Alexandrians. And now I have the privilege of introducing the Honorable Justin Wilson, our Mayor of the City of Alexandria.
Thank you, Amanda. Good morning, everyone. It is great to see you all here on the West End, Del. Where'd Del go? There you are. She was right here earlier. She moves quick. So, good morning, everyone. I want to first of all welcome you all here to the Del Pepper Center on the city's West End. I want to first of all welcome a number of elected officials who are here in the audience. Everyone's here because Del made sure. Del checks attendance. She definitely checks. We have first of all our Vice Mayor Amy Jackson right here. Councilwoman Aaliyah Gaskins. Councilman Kirk McPike. Councilman Kenneth Aguirre. We have our Clerk of the Court, Greg Parks. From the General Assembly, we have Senator Adam Eben. We have Delegate Alfonso Lopez. Delegate Elizabeth Bennett Parker. We have some former elected officials here, 2 of my predecessors. We have former Mayor Allison Silberberg, former Mayor Bill Ewell. I understand there's another former member of council here. Del Pepper. Slipped the mind. I see it on the sign now, though, so okay, all right. Thank you all for being here and being a part of this event. This is an exciting opportunity for our city. I'm going to start with kind of the technicals, the technocratic stuff. This is a big step for the city. We are consolidating a bunch of city agencies in one building. We are saving the taxpayers millions of dollars by moving to owned space from leased space. We were in a smattering of leased space. We're going to provide services a lot better to the community by being all in one location. This is a beautiful building. It was well cared for by the IDA, and now as we take over custodianship of it, we will take care of it very well. And it's a wonderful building. And I had an opportunity already to be in the elevators coming up here and seeing folks already using all the services that we have here in the building, and it's exciting that we have everything in one place. But this is more than just a building. This is more than just a building for our community, just like Del was more than just another member of the city council. This is an embodiment of the services that we provide to the city, the heart of this city, just like Dell was the heart of the city council for so long. You know, what I'm excited about right now is that a little over 70 years after the West End of our city became a part of our city, when we annexed the West End and went beyond Quaker Lane, that we are now putting to rest the canards about the forgotten West End and all of that, and we are bringing the city services that the residents of our city expect and demand and rely on to the West End of our city. This is about including the West End of our city in our community as full members of our community, as they have been for 70 plus years, and now making it official by bringing the West End Service Center and all the services that are here in the City of Alexandria to the West End. It has always been a bit odd that for a city where over half of our population is here on the West End and west of Quaker Lane, that just like everybody else, they got to go down to City Hall, fight for parking, to pay a tax bill, to get a permit, to do any of the services that all of us expect and demand. And this West End Service Center is going to be all that and more, and we're just getting started. This is just the beginning of what we will bring to this facility and what we will bring to the residents of our city. So that is really, really exciting. But what's also really exciting is the namesake. And we were particularly thrilled at the end of Dell's 36 years on City Council. What? You didn't hear that, right? 36 years on City Council. We were particularly proud to be able to put this name on this building. Because just like Dell was the heart of the City Council and the embodiment of all that, from a City Council perspective, we want to provide to our residents, this building is going to be that too. It is going to provide our safety net. It is going to provide the services from birth to death that the residents of our city expect and rely upon on their best day and on their worst day. And that's why we could not have picked a better namesake for this building than Del Pepper. I learned everything I know about constituent service and what we should provide to residents from Del Pepper. I was proud to be Dell's representative on the Budget and Fiscal Affairs Advisory Committee. I was proud to work on so many of her campaigns, but even more special was the opportunity to sit next to her for a long time and serve with her on the dais on City Council and see how she approaches issues and see the commitment that she has for our community. There is nobody that is more committed to the residents of our city and the people that we are so privileged to serve, and particularly the geography that we are standing in right now on the West End of our city, than Del Pepper. And furthermore, I learned very early in my political career that no matter what I could do as a member of City Council or as a politician, it was always going to play second fiddle to what Del Pepper has done for our community. And if you've ever knocked on doors in this city, you know it takes several campaigns before people finally start to get to know you. It was probably my third or fourth campaign. People finally would realize, oh yeah, you're the guy whose wife had a baby in the car. And by the way, I highly recommend that. It's a good way to get your name in the paper and all that. But I can tell you that as recently as my last city council race, I would go to doors, and I remember vividly going to a door just south of Duke Street. I think it was Vermont, one of those streets down there. And I knocked on the door and I said, hello, I'm Justin Wilson, I'm running for city council. And the guy said, well, you know, you sound like a nice enough guy, and I'm sure you do a great job in the city council, but I only vote for Del Pepper. I'm sorry. That's just the way. And I was like, no, wait, before you close the door, you get 6 votes. You know, you can vote for Del and you can vote for me. Don't worry. No, he didn't want to hear it. He was voting for Del Pepper. That was the way it was going to be. And so many in the community have those Del Pepper stories about the constituent request that Del was a part of, the work that she did to change their lives. And that's what this building is going to do. It is going to change lives long into the future. And so we could not have picked a better namesake for this building. And this is a testament of a lot of hard work. You're going to hear later from our former city manager, Mark Jinx, who was instrumental in making this building happen, not only achieving the vision of consolidating these agencies, but making sure that we negotiated for a purchase and lease of this building. And you're going to hear about that later. But before, and I'm about to introduce our current city manager, but before I do that, I want to recognize we have Senator George Barker, who has also arrived here. And this is actually your district, so Adam's the interloper out here. And so without further ado, I am pleased to introduce our city manager, Jim Parishon.
It's not every day we get a chance to celebrate under such beautiful skies, right? This is an amazing day, and I'm told tomorrow's maybe not so nice, right? Again, I'm Jim Parrish. I'm our city manager, and I get the honor of giving some thanks. And let's start off with the understanding that it's one thing to build a facility from the ground up, but overhauling such a large building under such timeframes and such constraints is truly amazing. Taking a pre-existing space and making it fit our community, that can be a daunting task, daunting feat. And many of the people I see, mostly standing, are people that made this happen. So the first thing I want to say is thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I've not been here long, but I know our team's been up to every challenge I've seen put in front of us, and I'm so honored to be part of that team. Many of you interact with our staff on a daily basis, and this building is going to be a hub of that, and you're going to find tremendous support for your needs. You're going to find tremendous support for the type of situations that you're in, and most importantly, empathy for the experiences that we all have, both good and bad. And I think this is way more than just a facility. It's a place that really is going to help people in such a significant way. I want to acknowledge the extraordinary efforts of many of our staff, obviously, but I want to call attention to some in particular. To our general services team under the leadership of Jeremy McPike, to our information technology service led by Vanetta Pledger, our city attorney's office led by Joanna Anderson, and this effort also with Sean Lassiter. Thank you to the hundreds of hours that you spent getting this facility ready and needed for our community. It's truly amazing when I look at really the true schedule here. And I've worked in plenty of these types of situations. This was fast, it was quick, it was hard, it was complex, and it required everyone's effort, and I'm so pleased. And I think when you take a tour of the building, you'll see the quality, the attention to detail. Now, we're not done, so bear with us, but it really is special. I also want to recognize our Department of Community and Human Services, who are really at the heart of this operation. More than 600 frontline team members engaging with our community day after day after day under the leadership of Kate Garvey. Thank you for your commitment to our constituents. Thank you. To our community health providers who can also call this facility home. I want to extend appreciation to Dr. Rose and his team at the health department, Dr. Khan and his team at the neighborhood health. You're going to make people's lives different and special. Thank you. To our contractors, I guess I should apologize in advance. I know we pushed you really hard, but thank you. Davis Construction, Peabody Office Furniture, ZGF Architects, Sevels, Macro, and Alpha. These were our contracting team that made this all possible. And if you work in the construction, you know that that's been made much more challenging by the pandemic, by supply chain, by competition, by the fact that we have an existing building and we have special needs, and thank you. This high-level list of professionalism made this happen. This next thank you doesn't get said enough, but I need to say it, and I want to say it as often as we can. You see the benefits of a lot of things, but this does not happen without the recognition of the leadership of our city council in supporting all of the services that will provide true valuable assistance to the people and businesses in our amazing community. Without that leadership, dreams and hopes of our residents cannot be realized. So thank you. I also want to take a moment to recognize someone very special in the audience today. He's my predecessor, Mark Jinx. I get the benefit of some of the work that certainly Mark put in under his leadership with our staff, and I'm just in awe. This was an amazing deal, and just behind the scenes, I can tell you it was a very good deal for the city. So thank you, Mark. Under Mark's vision, this facility and its combined shared services are being realized today. Our community has really benefited from Mark's years of leadership in Alexandria, and we're so grateful for that. And on behalf of the citizens that are all going to benefit from that vision, I want to thank Mark, and I'd ask Mark to join us in saying a few words.
Good morning. It's great to see you all again. First, I want to start by thanking all the folks who work in this building and work for the city for thanking you for your service to our community. Whether you work in DCHS, the health department, the clerk of the courts, neighborhood health, code administration, finance, all in this building, you're the glue that holds this city together and which makes Alexandria a wonderful place to live, work, and thrive. And there's no better proof than the diligent and extraordinarily dedicated work that that group of employees, the people who are here, the people who are working back there or out in the field today, did during COVID. You did it in outdated buildings, in inadequate facilities, but you got the job done and protected the community well. And now we can say goodbye, hopefully, to all those inadequate buildings and moved into this great new space. And we have now the space supporting you and not getting in your way of getting your job done. The journey getting here had its challenges. First question was where to locate. You know, we could have done, well, there are buildings, you know, unfortunately there were empty office buildings in various places of the city. The good news is there were lots of options and the prices were depressed, so we got a very good, as the mayor said, we got a very, as Jim said, we got a very, very good business deal here. But that wasn't the sole reason. We potentially could have got a better deal, short term, by going in a couple of buildings actually you can see from here. But they would have been smaller. What we saw was the private sector who rented them out, squeezed the value out of the buildings and never reinvested. Whereas the IDA here kept their building in good shape, and so we inherited a much better place. We inherited more room than we needed, and we thought we could do something about that. And then, you know, somebody whispering in my ear or shouting at times about the West End said, maybe we can, instead of, you could have let the other agencies who were here, it's got to spread out and have a little more space. And we thought, no, they got what they need. Well, we need to say, what do we need to provide in the West End? And that's where the West End Service Center concept came from. And then the staff basically filled in most of the details, made it all work. One of the advantages when you retire and things aren't done, you don't have to deal with the messy details of getting it over the finish line. Somebody else can do that. You can say, here's the concept, and go off into retirement. But it caught, because IDA needed to build a new building at Potomac Yard, we couldn't get in the building to start work as early as we wanted. And that meant a delay of more than a year in telling the DCHS, the health department, and other staff, you're going to have to stay in 2525 in the St. Asaph Street building even longer. However, again, when I listening to employees and remembering what they said, I recall that one of the biggest complaints I'd hear during employee compensation meetings wasn't from DCHS employees, was not about necessarily compensation. It was about the damn chairs that were broken and outdated and were uncomfortable to sit in, and the light bulb went on. So I called Kate. I said, would you like new chairs? So 2 years ago, we bought 600 chairs. So you may see that the chairs in this building are a little worn at the heels. They're not brand new like most of the rest of the furniture. It's because we bought them 2 years ago and we said, okay, when it's time to move, you just get them and roll them down the street and into the new building. So we thought that was the least we could do, given we had said we needed to take longer to do this. But we knew that longer, in the end of the day, meant better. Co-location has been talked about, and people understand that that's a physical term. Well, it's an organizational term as well, because it's by putting people together who serve the same clients or similar clients, you get synergies. Whether it's elevator conversations or in the parking garage on the way into work in the morning saying, hey, what about this, what about that? Or whether it is actual changing the way the lines work on paper and who reports to whom, or creating cross-functional teams. Because in today's governmental environment, particularly human services environment, problems are not stovepipe solutions. They don't have stovepipe solutions. You need to get people from multiple places. Our co-responding program with the police department is a perfect example, taking two completely different services and saying, you know what, to serve our community better, we need to put them together. So with this building, we started 10 years ago by putting the CSB, the mental health operations, together with DCHS to create a single department. But the fact that there were two separate buildings made the synergy that you could get by co-location, by being the same department, it lessened it. So by putting them now together in the same department, we'll finally achieve or begin to achieve, and it's an ongoing process, the benefits of co-location. And having in the West End Service Center, our permitting operation in here, that the environmental health is now in the same building as code administration, so that will have benefits to us. And finally, want to end by thanking Del Pepper for her service to the community. I respect Del immensely. And I have, when you're city manager, you have deputy city managers, assistant city manager, you have people to advise you, people who you don't want whispering in your ear, do this or do that. And there was somebody who was a kind of secret staff member who I look forward to meeting with her, Mrs. Pepper, when we met monthly or talked on the phone more often than that, because I knew I was always going to learn something. I was going to get a different perspective, and she was going to say it not from, which way's the political wind blowing, but what was the right thing to do for the community. And so naming this building after Del memorializes that for the community into the long distant future. So Del, congratulations, and thank you very much for your service to the city.
Thank you, Mark, for your continued leadership on behalf of the City of Alexandria. I will now introduce my colleague, Kate Garvey, Director of the Department of Community and Human Services.
Thank you so much. It is really hard to describe the gratitude and joy that I feel today. We are standing in front of a building that represents so much to so many. It is the realization of a dream that began many years ago that unifying a department could transform our work and the community. I am a crier, so if you see me crying, don't be alarmed, because I'm so happy. It is a promise to so many Alexandrians who often feel unheard and unseen that they have a place that is theirs, where they can come to achieve their dreams, to overcome challenges, and to prepare a way for themselves and their children. It is a beautiful, bright place where hundreds of staff see that they are valued and where they can connect with their colleagues and partners to do powerful things to support our community and our residents. We are so grateful to so many people for making this dream come true for us. And I'd like to start with someone who could not be here with us. Here's where I will cry. Deborah Collins, who had this dream long before I got here. So we want to honor her, and we miss her. Sorry. It's my Irish heritage. I'm so sorry. We have to also thank both of our city managers, our mayors, and the city council members. You have invested in us. You've invested in this work in an unprecedented way, and we are so eternally grateful for everything that you've done for us. To our city partners who day in and day out work to make this building what it is, General Services with Jeremy McPike, Grant Rogers, and Donna Palucci gave every single bit of their blood, sweat, and tears to making this an amazing place, and we are so grateful to them. Also, ITS, Vanetta Pleasure, and her whole team just being so supportive in every way during our transitions. I also want to acknowledge the DCHS leadership team for their work all along this 5-year journey, their vision, their commitment, and all of their teams working to really design a place that's meant for everyone and to do the best work that we possibly can. I'd also like to recognize Sharon Von Roach, who's our Center for Operations Director, who really took a special lead in this work. Also, Chris Washington, our Facilities Plus Director, and also Paul Kim, who we lost during the process. Again, the crying. People often say that budgets are moral documents. I would like to say that buildings and development also represent our morals and values of a community. The Redella S. Del Pepper Community Resource Center is an exquisite representation of this city's values. It is a place of joy, of comfort, of safety that will tell generations to come that they belong, that they are valued, and that they're working together. Anything is possible. So thank you very much. Dell made me cry. Dell made me cry. So now it's my honor, and I'm going to try not to cry now, to introduce you, okay? I'll make it nice, I promise. It's so fitting that this building is named for one of the greatest champions in this city, Del Pepper. While I know that Del needs no introduction, I think it's good to remind ourselves of some of Del's amazing career and contributions. She served on the Alexandria City Council from 1985 to 2021, 36 years. Right? Is that how we did it? She also served as vice mayor for 7 of those years. She was the longest serving member of the City Council and the longest serving local elected official in the region. Del served as an aide to Charles E. Beatley in 1985 before winning her first term on council, and as an aide, she worked on the creation of the Dash bus system, which had just launched. In the late 80s, she was a vocal supporter of a measure banning discrimination against government employees who had contracted HIV, helping to pave the way to make Alexandria the first local government in the DMV to guarantee jobs for individuals with HIV. She's also recognized for successfully advocating for the 2012 closure of the Mirant coal-fired power plant in Alexandria, which she referred to as the region's biggest polluter. In 2021, the Virginia House of Delegates, with the Senate of Virginia concurring, passed a resolution commending Pepper for her remarkable career. All through her time in council, Del has pulled for the underdog, the West End of the city, older adults, youth trying to find a way in this community. These were her constant causes, among many, many others. She made sure that the needs of those groups were always considered. She was both a fierce advocate and a strategic leader who knew how to get things done, usually by just pointing her finger, and you knew you better get something done. We are so grateful for all of her amazing contributions, and this building is a fitting tribute to her. So please welcome our guest of honor, Councilwoman Del Pepper.
I'm not as young as I used to be. First of all, I want to begin by introducing my son, my daughter-in-law, and not that I'm old enough to have a teenager this tall who really makes me look like a shrimp. But anyway, this is my granddaughter, Mary. Wasn't that clever of me to have 1 son and 5 grandchildren? Anyway, they're very special. I'd also like to note Mindy Lyle and Tracy Thompson, who are what we call teamed in. And if I need to go somewhere, they're my helpers. Come on, you want to stand up? Okay, there we go. Anyway, my son drove up from a suburb of Richmond this morning, and I thank them for doing that. The building is awesome. There's just no other word for it. I kept hearing from people, "You're going to love it, Dale." Well, it took a while for me to get here, but I want you to know when I took my tour, there's no other word. It is just plain awesome. It has been carefully and thoughtfully planned. It is new and it's truly beautiful. I want to thank the city council and the mayor who voted to name the facility after me. I mean, who gets a building named after them? Oh, and I love telling people it's 10 stories. If that doesn't impress them, nothing will. Anyway, and I want to thank Mark for his vision. It was really amazing, and we thank you too for all you have done. We're so glad. But more than truly beautiful, this is a place of hope and help. The activities here and the services offered are life-changing, or if you will, they're game-changing. And over the years, I have sat on a number of boards and commissions attached to the various departments. And I like to think that our workers are the brightest and the best. And I've been saying that all along. But to add to that, they are the most welcoming and helpful. And that's what you're going to need for the kind of activities that go on here. People who can hear the pain. For sure, as I said, the building is awesome in so many ways, and I'm so very proud to have my name on it. And I want to thank everybody for coming today and for all those who have taken a part in putting it together. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. Our formal ceremony is now complete. At this time, I'll ask our program participants to please wait here for the formal ribbon cutting photo.